doing. I'm so excited to be here now. So I'm gonna literally send it over to you, put you as the speaker view, and I'm going to be listening with avid interest into what you're talking about. So
amazing. Okay, am I ready to start?
You're ready to start? Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Hi guys. So before I introduce myself, I want to actually jump right into it because I am really, really excited to share this with you. So today we're all talking about how can we have a lot more energy and a lot less overwhelm. And I think that stress and overwhelm, burnouts, something that most of us are familiar with. And if you're not, we're just like not human. I don't know a single human who's just like not stressed or not overwhelmed. But the interesting thing is that we truly believe that once this event, once this project, once we had this difficult conversation is over, we can relax, right? We'll be happy and we'll be stress-free and we'll be present for our partners and for our children. But it doesn't happen, right? Because in reality, it isn't so, because there's always going to be external circumstances, external events that will determine the way we feel, the way we think, and the way we act. And unless we make those conscious choices and we recognize that in order to really change something, we've got to start changing how we feel. We need to attend to our own thoughts, our own feelings and emotion first, because unless that happens, we will always be at the mercy of something and someone else. And that is when we start draining our energy. And I'm going to actually repeat this over and over as we're going through this presentation. Energy is your highest currency, because without it, there's just simply no life. We cannot make decisions. We cannot communicate. We can't show up at our highest, at our best selves. And we can't stay productive. And being in a career, being in a position of a leader or as an entrepreneur, a business owner, a mom, we have to be performing on top of our game. And when we leak that energy, when we feel drained, that's when overwhelm kicks in. That's when doubts, procrastination, and then before long, we found ourselves being stuck in this like thinking and doing, thinking loop. And then we wonder why nothing changes in our lives. And I've certainly been through that. If you have, then pop in yes, if you're happy to share that in the chat. I mean, this is all I think a lot of us have gone through or going through, or somebody's close to us. So what is actually leaving us really feel drained? And I believe it falls into 5 categories. Now, before I get into them, I just want to emphasize that really from the time we are born, from maybe when we're little children, we are conditioned to seek validation and approval from people around us. So we run around, we try to please others into liking us. We try to, get them to say, yes, great job, well done. And if they don't approve, then we get bitter, we get disappointed, we get angry, and then we compromise and we settle for less than what we are worth. In other words, we give our power away, and that is draining. And every time really we say yes to something that feels like a no, and we say no to something that feels like yes, and each time we compromise and settle for less, and every time we make decisions as not self, and we will talk later what that actually means, and we allow something or someone outside of us to dictate how we feel, and most importantly, every time we put someone's needs before ours, and that does include our children and our spouse and all of the friends, every time we put somebody else's needs before ours, we leak energy. And the reason for that is because it takes a lot more energy to be who you are not than who you truly are. And then what happens then stress, overwhelm, procrastination, doubts settle in, and that potentially can lead to mental, physical, emotional, spiritual burnout. And by the way, I did suffer from all of them at one time. So the great thing is we, as humans, truly do have the power to change all of that for better. We can have abundance of energy, clarity, and success, and happiness, and perform on top of our professional and personal game, right? We can become more productive. And literally, we can shave off hours, days, even weeks, sometimes even months of our long pile of never-ending chores and to-do lists. And I've seen it over and over and over again. I've seen it in my life and life of my clients, and also people who do that work. But it all starts with being aware. It is about being aware where you are now, about where you want to be, and most importantly, whether or not you're ready for change. And this is where it's really interesting, because through my coaching and through my, the training practice that I run, I meet so many people that say, I'm ready for change, I want to get this job, or I want to, I don't know, get a 10-pack working out at the gym, and I want to start this business. But then 5 years later, like nothing, that changes in their lives. And you wonder why. And I actually concluded, and actually it's somewhere where I read, and it made so much sense to me, that as humans, really, we're only truly ready for change is when the fear of being stuck where we are now is greater than the fear of the unknown. And I feel that that is really true for most of us. But the thing is, as humans also, right, we are creatures of habits. We like the known, we like the safe, and it's our minds, it's our logic, it's our rational minds that wants to keep us small, it doesn't want us to take risks. And unless you have systems and you've got structures that help you really to get to the next level, the chances are nothing really is going to change, because you're going to revert back to your familiar and your known. So the system I really want to introduce you to today is human design. And I know some of just people are coming in today, guys. So if you've heard of human design before, please pop it in the chat, like yes, no idea. And if you have heard of it, then let me know. Let me know your human design type. Yeah, okay. So Svetlina, yeah, she said generator with emotional authority, 5-1. But Angela, it's 5-1 is your profile. What's your energy type? Is it a generator, manifester? Okay, brilliant. So, but before I jump into human design, I just want to take a minute and really introduce myself a little bit better. So my name is Elena Thompson. If you're wondering where my weird accent comes from, okay, cool, you're a generator like me, hi. If you're wondering where my weird accent comes from, it's a mixture. I grew up in South Africa, I've been in Russia. I was born in Russia, so many countries. I lived in South Africa and Israel, and now I'm in UK. So my background is corporate. I have a computer science degree in computer science, and I've spent many years traveling, coaching, training, designing some complex workflow systems for businesses. But in 2018, I have decided that was not my life. My purpose was something different. So I quit my job. My 6-figure career came to an end with 2 mortgages, 2 children, 2 private schools, and going through separation all at the same time. But I just thought, why not? Just do it all together at the same time, and that's it. And since then, it really has been a journey. It's been a journey of self-discovery, journey of growth, like business and also self. And now really my passion is to help others to find their way towards their inner freedom, to live their life with awareness and not to compromise for anything less than they deserve. And for that, I believe human design is a perfect tool. So that's done about me. Now the exciting bits. So what is human design? I know some of you are familiar and some of you completely brand new to it. So human design really provides you with a roadmap, with a blueprint on how you are natively designed to use your energy, how you're designed to make correct decisions, communicate, navigate through challenges, and overcome obstacles with much more ease. So in other words, really, it helps you to align with your greatest potential and live your life with integrity, being true to who you are. And the beautiful thing really happens is when you understand, and not just understand, but when you apply human design to your life, everything just becomes easier. You finally stop wasting your precious energy, because remember, energy is your currency. You stop compromising and stop saying yes to what feels like no, and you stop saying no to what feels like yes. You stand in your power, you speak what's on your heart and what's in your minds. And this is just a really beautiful energy to be in, because you have the power over you and you've claimed it back. So human design is a system which combines the quantum physics, genetics, and also more esoteric sciences like astrology, Kabbalah, I Ching, and chakra system. You might be, if somebody does yoga here, anybody familiar with what chakra systems are? I think if if somebody does yoga, you'd probably know what chakras are. So it's similar to astrology, although I feel it's a bit different, but the way it's similar to astrology is that it takes your date and your time and your place of birth. And based on that, it generates your energetic blueprint. And those of you who already know, you generate your energy type, familiar with what this blueprint may look like. So at its highest level, human design groups people into 5 energy types. And like, has anyone done those personality assessment frameworks before, like Myers-Briggs? Are you guys familiar with it? Yeah. So you will be kind of then understanding. So I think they group like in 12 profiles. So, I mean, every system is different. So in human design, you get 5 energy types. And each energy type has their own strategy. A strategy really is the correct way to approach and navigate through life with less or even free from resistance. So your energy type will determine when you're most productive, how you utilize these opportunities, and also shows you when you're out of alignment. So there are 5 energy types, which are generators. And looking here, there's majority, well, there's 1, 2, and I'm also generators. So there's generators. There is manifesting generators, manifestors, projector, and a reflector. So I'm just going to jump into each of these types in a lot more depth now. And for those of you who don't know your type, as I'm talking, see if you recognize yourself in one of them. Maybe like, oh, that sounds like me, or that sounds like my daughter. It will be interesting at the end when you run your chart to see whether that's, you got that right. Okay. Oh, you're a projector. Okay, cool. So let's talk about the most common 2 types, is a generator and manifesting generator. Often they're actually being combined into one, but I like to separate them because there are differences between them, especially the way they show up in business and work. So generators, they are got this like engine. They like got this built engine. They jump out of bed in the morning and they've got this like motto, and they like just have to move, and they'll probably go for a run, go to the gym, get the kids ready, have breakfast ready, get it all done before it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. So they have to burn that energy within them before the day is over and they finally collapse into bed and they like pass out. They are the worker bees. So they're the builders. They're somebody, who really is here to work and build things. So not every energy type is like that, by the way. And now every energy type, they also have their energy field, right? Or aura, however you want to call it. And then, if you're open to calling it aura, call it aura. But we all project certain energy around us. And for generators and manifesting generators, it's magnetic. It's like they've got this really open, kind of welcoming energy, and they naturally draw people into them. But the key for them is to have a job or to have a business or to have a side project they're passionate about. They have to be in the passion. They have to be in the joy. And when they work, let's say in the office, they bring energy into the room. When they engaged with a meaningful work, doing what they love, that's when people can't get enough of them. So if you have a generator, if you're living with a generator, or you work with a generator, somebody even you, and they're not performing, they're not showing up at their highest self, they're not engaging, they're not delivering, they're not, you can see in their demeanor, like they just like couldn't care less, then it's the time to have a conversation with them and see what is going on, because the chances are they're not being motivated, they're not feeling that passion, and that's how they can burn out. This is how they can be drained, just simply by lack of the passion and motivation. And it's very similar for manifesting generators. Manifesting generators are similar, except they move through life at like insane speed. They can work on so many things at once. They even have, they love taking shortcuts. So let me know if that resonates, because for some reason, I've been speaking to a lot of manifesting generators who love working in multiple projects, and they love skipping steps. And sometimes they'll like do so many things and they've got to go back and redo them because they skip the steps, and that's okay. It's actually how they're designed to work, right? But if you think in our society, how we are told, start one thing at a time, finish what you started. And it's actually not true. It's not true for them. Do anything? Yeah, well, I mean, it will be interesting to see, right? If you're a manifesting generator or manifester, and that's the next stuff we get to. So because manifesting generators are moving so fast, they can just lose people. They were like, oh my God, what is she up to? What is he up to again? You know, and that can create resentment, that can create conflict in a family or in business. And also people then will try and help you, and manifesting generators, they don't want to be helped. So they'll get on your way and then you'll get angry. So the very important thing for the manifesting generator is to inform before really taking actions, right? So you feel the passion, you want to start something else, you're responding to an event or to whatever that feeling, that of excitement you're feeling, pause and tell people, whoever is going to be impacted by your actions, what you're about to do. Because that will really, first of all, it will get them out of your way so you can move even faster. And second of all, they will feel appreciated and they will feel seen. Now we get to manifestors. So manifestors, they are a minority really of people. They're only about 7 to 9%. And they're similar to manifesting generators, but they are here ready to initiate, right? They're here to get the projects off the ground. They're here, you know, to lead the team. So for example, if you've got manifestors in the team, if you work in an office, they are the kind of people you can give them a task to do and just say, off you go and you do that. They're not here to be managed. They're here literally to get everybody into action and then almost step away. So they've got the initiation energy, but not necessarily completion. And my daughter's a manifest. And before I knew about it, I was like, what's wrong with that girl? You know, I couldn't keep up with her. She was doing 10 things and not finishing any of them. And this is how they're designed to work. And also very similar to manifesting generators, they have to inform people before they're going to do something. Because when they get excited, when they want to do something, it's like a non-verbal thing. It's like their body, and they don't really express themselves. And it's can be quite challenging for them to pause and inform. But that will save them so much energy and so much anger. And of course, every time they get angry, right? I mean, we feel pretty drained after going through this bout of anger. So in order for them really to move fast, to be efficient, to be productive, to be effective, they have to inform others. Now we get to projectors. So projector is Angela. So projectors, they're about 15 to 20% of population, and they are our guides. They are our leaders. They're the wise souls who like see the depth and the depth into each and every single one of us. They see the deepest potentials within people. They're here to tweak and guide and bring efficiency to methods and processes. And if you're living with projector, if you work with projector, they're really here to introduce, you know, something quite innovative to the systems and to the ways that you run your business or even you run your household. But the important thing for projector is to be invited, to be recognized. Because if the projector is not invited into opportunity, if they're not being recognized for who they truly are, they're using their voice, they're using the throat, and nobody can hear them. And that's very similar for other types also, if you don't have a consistent energy to the throat. But this is like more kind of advanced human design. So for projectors, you know, if you're living with them, if you love a projector, if you work with a projector, do you pay them this extra attention? Do you recognize them for the wisdom? Do you ask them for their opinion? Because this is the only time that they can really express what their knowledge and their wisdom, and they've got a lot of wisdom about them. And then finally, we get to reflectors. So reflectors are very special. They're only like 1% of population, and they're actually called like a barometer of the environment. So they're like a thermometer you can put in the office and measure their happiness and levels of success, because they mirror back to us the health, the stability and well-being of the organization, of our households. And if the reflector is happy, if they're satisfied, if they're motivated, then you know you've got the perfect setup. If they're disappointed, if they're not performing, if they're not showing up, then something isn't going right. So it's then some tweaking really is required. And for reflectors, for them really, their strategy, if you remember, strategy is really how we are designed to navigate through life with less challenges. Their strategy is all about waiting. And sometimes waiting up to 28 to 30 days to really make the decision, right? It's a lunar cycle. I mean, I'm not saying what to have for breakfast, right? But it's like a job you want to apply to, or maybe you move a house or whatever. It's not an instant decision. They need to wait for 28 to 30 days. And when you think about the society, the high-paced society we live in, you've got to make decisions right now. You've got to decide, you've got to take action. they will make decisions that are not theirs and they will burn out. So it's really important to understand your energy type and how you're designed to navigate and to make those correct decisions. So your human design also then contains your blueprints for your correct decision making, for your strengths, for your gifts, your vulnerabilities, and a lot more. I mean, it's a massive system, really, you know. People studied for years and years and years. But for this purposes, what I wanted really to focus on as a last bit is the specific way of making decisions that are correct for you, that are truly yours. Because the reason why we feel so overwhelmed so often is that we get stuck in our heads, right? And I think maybe you can all relate. We get stuck in our heads trying to decide something, trying to make a decision. We use our logic, we use our rational minds, we then go and ask others for their opinions, we listen to the media, we listen to the news, we tap into our previous experiences, previous memories, we muddle it all up and then say, I've decided. And then we get the same predictable results. So in human design, minds is designed for creativity, for ideas, for inspiration, for reasoning, but never to make decisions, irrespective of what your energy type is. And there are three really ways of knowing something, of deciding something. So one of them, yes, is logic. And of course, I mean, logic, we need to, you know, kind of be rational, I guess, about should we put wellies or the rain boots on if it's raining, or should we wear Crocs, you know, and go outside? This is a very simple decision. Or what are we going to feed our kids for breakfast, right? So those kind of decisions, our logic is fine. But then there are two different ways. There's two other ways. And one of them is your intuition, which is represented by your authority in your human design. So the intuition is the way really you are naturally wired to make those powerful decisions that can lead you to the next step in your life. And I know there is still a bit of, you know, like intuition, it's a woo-woo, it's a weird thing. But if you look at the scientists like Einstein, right? And Einstein actually said that, what is it? Intuitive mind is the, I can't remember, but something, the logical mind is the servant, and the intuitive mind, that's a true gift. And we made our servants, you know, we give our servants so much power and we forgot what our true gift is. Edison, Ford, all of this, you know, great people, they have all contributed their success to the power of intuition. So in human design, every single energetic blueprint, and if you generate it, I will give you a link, you can get it for free, you will see what your authority is. And this is the way you are configured to make correct decision. And then the third way is the knowingness. You know, sometimes when you know something, you don't know how, you just like know it. So that's a different way of also how we can make decisions. So logic, intuition, and the inner knowingness. So just to conclude, because I know we're getting to the hour now, just to conclude really, what human design has personally done for me, it's first of all gave me permission to be myself, right? And I've gained so much insight really into my gifts and to my talents, and also where I am blocked with fear and sensitivities. And let's face it, you know, we're all humans, we're not perfect. It's an evolution, it's an evolving journey, and there's always going to be fears and doubts coming up. So now there is a powerful tool that can help me to align me with my highest truth, with my highest potentials. Because, I mean, our sense of self-awareness is always evolving. And I feel the more tools we really help us understand why we behave the way we do, the more successful we can become. So I just want to make it really practical for you guys and to explain, you know, how does it fit into your business, into your career, and into your life. So first of all, it helps you to improve your efficiency and your productivity. If you work with a team of people, you know, if you're a manager, if you're a team leader, or if you're an entrepreneur where you work with people, it improves the team's dynamic because they begin to understand who they are, the most important thing, right? And how others are positioned to make decisions and communicate. So they begin to accept each other for who they truly are. It makes you a better even salesperson. So when, you know, as entrepreneurs, it's all about really selling and marketing your services and understanding how you are designed to communicate. That is a big changer, because there's a big game changer. Understanding where your strengths are, you begin to use certain language to create your office with. It helps you to handle your emotions and raises your self-awareness. And then you start to navigate through life with much more ease. But the most important thing really is that it helps you to remember that underneath all of this, you are a human being and you're not a human doing. So to conclude all of that, if what I shared with you, if that resonated in any ways, then I just want to invite you to join me on a deep dive, an intimate 2-hour workshop with me, where over this 2 hours together, you will discover how you are uniquely designed to optimize your energy, make choices that are in alignment with your goals, communication, navigate through challenges at work and life and in your business, and leverage your strength, improve your relationship with others, with your loved ones, with your colleagues, with your friends, and so much more. So if you would like to join me on this workshop, the price is $47 USD dollars, and I'm going to run it on the 5th of February, and then also on 2 weeks later, 5 plus 14, 19th of February. So that's all I have for you for today. I hope you managed to keep up. I know it was a lot of information to pack in. And yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. In a chat here, in a Grammater 7, we're like, find possible to say not doing so, and I need to work at making space. Exactly, Therese. It's all about the doingness, isn't it? You kind of get stuck because in our heads, we try to think. And then if you're kind of familiar with the energy centers, in our root energy center, we try to do, and we get stuck in this like pressure cooker where we're thinking and doing. And it's almost breaking that pattern. You know, it's all about breaking the patterns that are keeping us stuck and giving them a new meaning, creating new stories. And unless you like consciously is like, whoa, catch yourself and make that quiet space. And you know that 5 minutes of sitting on a couch can be more productive than 20 hours of work, right?
I totally
It's not
agree.
natural for us. It's not natural.
Yeah, to be doing all the time and pushing and doing forward. And yet the world seems to demand it of us with these like crazy devices that we always carry in our pockets. And my 29-year-old son has a wonderful practice. When we go out to a restaurant in Seattle where he lives, he collects everybody's phones and sits on them. And then we can be present. So, you know, the devices, I think, are the bad guy, one of the major bad guys in taking away our white space, because there's always one more email to be checked.
Absolutely. And I always like encourage my clients, you know, even if, because like sitting on a couch, people don't like it. I do. I mean, I close my eyes, I ask the question and I wait for the guidance or like answers or something to pop in. And it wasn't natural because I'm very like logical person. I was like, oh my God, feels weird. But with time, it gets so powerful. So some people prefer just to go for a walk. But then they put their headphones in, the Bluetooth ones. And I'm like, well, you're sending radiation into your head. It's not helping, you know?
Yeah.
So it's almost like you want to go out into the nature, even if it's 5 minutes. It doesn't need to be 10 hours. And just go for like 5 minutes, just like leave everything behind. Because on that walk, you're going to get an inspiration. You might bump into someone, right? You may like see something like, oh, that will make an amazing social media post. And then you come back and you're so inspired to write it. Or you can, of course, be crouching in front of your laptop and like freaking out because no idea's coming in. The choices, you know, we all have to make choices.
Yeah, no,
That's wonderful.
I mean, that's really.
Oh, that's good, Richard.
That's been really fascinating, actually. I'm just going to change the view second, but you know, you've brought in loads of information, but I have to say that you've done it in a very intuitive way. You've actually given us lots of things to think of, but without overpowering us. And I think that's the real gift to, you know, to be able to express those things. And I mean, one question I just had, which I think will be useful to people listening on the replay, from what you're saying, it seems to me that there will be children in this world who are diagnosed with certain conditions that if their parents only knew what was really going on, they could actually help those children to be the person that, you know, the person they're meant to be.
Amazing, right? Exactly, because that's all. Like, so like my son is a generator like me, right? So for generators, just a little tip, by the way, for generators, when you talk to them, you always want to ask them yes or no questions. Like for them, an open-ended question, and like, what did you just say? Well, if you're talking to projectors, to manifestors, to reflectors, they respond to open-ended questions. You need to give them the choice, you know? Understanding that, I mean, it changed the way I communicate with my daughter, and she now responding to me. Before, I'm like, I'll ask her the same thing 10 times. And I'm like, why is she not responding? It's a game changer. I think, you know, for parents to understand design of the children, they will change the way they approach the children upbringing completely. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you've got a child that is trying to do this, that, and the other and never finishes it, you can feel like your child's not successful. But actually, it's just their personality, and you just need to know how to help them to get the best for them, you know. I mean, it's fascinating. And I think anybody watching this on the replay, I'm sure that you're going to have questions. So are we going to be able to, we'll get you to, are you going to post a link in the chat for us here, are you?
I did. I put a link to the workshop, and
there.
also a link to my LinkedIn and my email. If somebody wants to get in touch and do a chart, like reading, like a really deep dive one-on-one, then do reach out to me. I think, you know, it's really, really powerful to have an experience like that. It literally changed my whole being in like pretty much overnight once I had my chart read. It's incredible experience. And also understanding obviously more about, like you said, you know, if you've got children living with you or partner, you know, especially when you struggle with communication. Like when I look now at my charts and like my ex-partner, I'm like, I can pinpoint to every single argument, to everything where we had and where everything went wrong. It's in depth. And it's also about nutrition, because I'm now reaching into nutrition. So you can even, I don't really go into it, but looking at your chart, you can even kind of design a plan of eating, I guess, like what food groups are really good for you just by looking at your human design. And you've got people who specialize in the nutrition part of human design.
Yes. So I've seen something about that too. And the other thing I was going to say, so for people watching the replay, obviously, because it's great because you've given 2 dates there, so they're going to be able to access that link and as well, are they?
Yeah, so on the link, it says 5th of February. Now, when you receive a confirmation email, if you prefer the 2 weeks later, the 19th of February, just respond 19th, and then, you know, then I'll just, I'll book you for then.
Brilliant. Fantastic. So yeah, if you're watching the replay, engage in the comments below, ask your questions, and we'll make sure that Lena actually sees them, or we'll get her to come back and we'll just do a live talk, chat, you know, just get some more answers there as well. But obviously, to get the full answer, the best thing is to connect with her and go a little bit deeper with her as well. So, but you might want to ask a question before that. So do feel free to do that. But we thank you very, very much for bringing that and sharing it. Fascinating conversation that we've just experienced tonight. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.